Tell me about this T-shirt you're wearing, because it says some words, what appears to be cuneiform writing, which I remember from high school, and get my clay tablet, and then it says fine quality copper.
Yeah.
I have what? Okay. I don't think you're a copper enthusiast.
Okay, so I saw this and I was like, I need to own that because literally like 5 people will get it. The earliest complaint letter in existence is a 4,000-year-old cuneiform tablet written to A. Nasir by a guy whose name I don't remember, but he wrote a letter to A. Nasir that was like, hey, I prepaid you for this copper. And you said you had high quality copper, and I prepaid you for it. And when I sent my guy to come pick it up, you were really rude to him. And when he pointed out that the copper was shit quality, you said, well, that's the copper you're getting. Take it or leave it. And this is bullshit. And I either want my money back or I want my copper. And it's like, that's it. It's like 4,000-year-old him bitching at Ian Nasir about the crappy copper. And so it's like, that's funny. But when they continued the excavation, again, in like the ancient Sumerian city of Ur, they were like, oh, okay, well, this building, we found this letter in. And so they're excavating the rest of the building, and they keep finding letters to A. Nasir telling him what an asshole he is. And so they're like, holy shit, this is A. Nasir's house. He conned a bunch of people with his shitty copper, and he got off on it so much he kept all the letters. So there's just letter after letter of like, where's my copper? Why is this copper garbage? Like, no one's going to trade with you anymore. Like, fuck you. Like, there's tons of letters all written to A. Nasir, all in this one house, telling him what an asshole he is.
That's fantastic.
I know. I love it.
And yeah, you're right. Like, there's 5 people who are going to get that reference. But the story's great.
There was a thing on Twitter like 2 weeks ago because like copper prices are shooting up because all like goods like that prices are going up because people are engaging in commerce again. And it was like,
hooray.
oh yeah, copper prices are through the roof. And someone on Twitter was like, A. Nasir's licking his chops right now. And I was like, oh, that's so good. And I saw like someone had like that shirt. And I was like, I'm 100% buying that shirt immediately.
I think the magic with T-shirts at this point in the internet is just go as niche as possible.
Yes.
Like, you want to be a culture king, right? And just go hard into the weird references people love.
Yeah.
Like, for me, the holy grail is like, can you get me a vintage Japanese RoboCop shirt? I'm in. Right? You went even older. You went 4,000-year-old complaint letter scam series. Oh, fabulous.
I just love it. It's like, and he lives on forever. That jerk. He'd love it. There was like, everyone knows what a jack off I am.
4,000 years later, it's on a T-shirt. Yeah, that guy could not have conceived of any of this.
Yeah.
So today on the Unofficial Shopify Podcast, we posted in our lovely Facebook group. Now, I think we're over 4,000 members now, I believe.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, I'm proud of that. So I posted, I said, hey, if you have questions, if you're struggling with something, you got some pain problem, want to pick my brain, ask me anything. Just go ahead, post. I want to know what you're struggling with. And I promised, I said, if you post, I'll answer your question. So we are answering everyone's question who posted today.
Yeah, so if we got to truck through it, we're trucking through it. If we think your question only gets a one-word answer, it gets a one-word answer. Sorry.
But we're doing it. And in case you're wondering who these yahoos are, I'm your host, Kurt Elster, a.k.a.
Tech Nasty.
And I am joined by complaint letter enthusiast Paul Rita, who grew up 2 blocks down the street from me, but we didn't never met. Never knew each other.
Well, you were a public school kid.
Yeah.
I was a Catholic school kid.
I know.
And never the twain shall meet.
No, it's for the best. I wouldn't want to corrupt you.
Yeah, right.
All right, let's...
Did you have to go to CCD?
I did not,
They
no.
didn't send you CCD?
I attended a couple of CCD classes. I was curious about it, because like all, in Park Ridge, everybody was Catholic.
Yeah.
And we weren't. So I was like, I want to go. My parents like, have fun. Yeah. I quickly, I'm like, I gotta go.
They were truly mysterious figures. Like, because the CCD would be at the school, at least for my school. And so then, like, you'd come in, and then they're like, something bad happened at the school. Like, there was like trash thrown everywhere, or like someone's stuff was, their stuff was missing on the desk. And it was always like, the CCD kids did it. Like they were, it was straight up. And it was like, oh, like the teachers are mad because they found this thing or whatever. And we were like, it was the CCD kids. That they had to have been.
So these outsider public school kids who came on the weekend to your Catholic school.
It was like Tuesday or Thursday nights. It was
in the evening.
Yeah.
And then they would get blamed for everything. Well, they were your scapegoat.
In our heads, we would always be like, it had to have been the CCD kids. Like,
that's funny.
Who can even see them? Who knows what they even look like?
That's really, I love that. That's funny. All right, we got a lot of questions to go through. Would you open with our first one?
John Murphy wants to know, I have always seen a large drop-off during checkout between the reach checkout and conversion step. Anything I could focus on to improve that? Thanks. Well, first of all, it's largely out of your hands because in Shopify, once you're in the checkout, Shopify controls that heavily.
Yep.
I would say, I'm assuming your checkout has been styled. You want to style your checkout with your store logo, your store colors, like make the buttons and colors in your checkout the same colors as they are on the front end of your site.
This is one that like even the biggest sites forget.
Yeah. And like, please, if you like have one of the things I hate, don't upload your logo, but it's like a square with a white background. And then like the background of your checkout's like blue. So your logo looks like trash.
Yeah.
Like, I hate that.
Yeah, put up that transparent logo.
Yeah.
I wish it would let you upload an SVG, but that's me just being really nitpicky.
That's too far.
It breaks my heart when I'm given an SVG by the client, and I'm like, oh, I got to save it out as a ping and upload it.
It's fine.
For the checkout. It's fine.
I think sorry to interrupt. The last thing is, I think, is your shipping rules too bad? Are you charging too much for shipping, or is it surprise shipping? That's the last thing.
If they got this far... If it's a really expensive item and they got this far, and I know John Murphy, this is a really expensive item.
John Murphy. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, this is a 4-figure item.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And so you get a lot more looky-loos.
Yeah,
like people...
When you sell expensive products, a lot of people like fantasy shop. And some people take a lot more people fantasy shop, and they take it all the way to the end.
It doesn't necessarily mean that this is broken or a problem. It just means they're like, look, I really want this. It's just a lot of money. I gotta wait. Like, just give me another 2 weeks. And so I think for this, if you're seeing this and it's an expensive item, make sure you've got a really great abandoned cart series. Maybe like do split testing with it. Try different cadences, timing, and you could also split your cart flows out, your abandoned cart flows based on value, to try and figure out like, okay, different offers in there. But all right, so he's saying a large drop off.
I was going to say, yeah.
We didn't define what that was.
It's going to drop anyway. I mean, it's going to be 75% of the previous step, not dropping 25% at least.
Yeah, I would say standard.
If it drops 25%, you're doing a great job.
Yes. Yeah, if it drops 25 or even 33%, like if we lose a third, I would say that's optimized. You're good.
Yeah.
If it's dropping 50%, that's probably the standard. That's average.
That's average.
If you're losing more than 50%, that's got to be like there's some unmet objection.
Yeah,
the chances are it's shipping.
Yeah.
So, the way to figure it out, really, in the abandoned cart email, first email is like, hey, did you have a question? You should just hit reply. Let us know.
Yeah.
Like, don't open with, here's your discount. Open with, can we help?
Yeah, is why didn't you buy today worthwhile or no? Or is it just going to be, I know you've done that and people have just been like, it costs too much. And it's like, well, it costs what it costs. Like, you get a lot of, well, it's too expensive. How dare you when you ask, why didn't you buy today?
Which either means like, hey, it means I didn't communicate the value well enough. They didn't see the value, or they want it and can't afford it and they're mad about it.
Yeah.
Either way, like, if I'm getting price objection a lot, the answer is, try and communicate the value. Try and offer financing if you can. But beyond that, like, you're just always... If I see, price as the objection is number one, and we've already done the first two things, at that point, I just start ignoring it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you may butcher this person's name.
Oh, Kani Sabori Ayubu.
That's okay. That's better than I would have done.
Good.
Okay, good, yeah.
I'm working on a BEW site?
New site, I assume.
Oh, okay.
I assume that's a typo.
I was like, is a
B and N are next to each other on the keyboard.
Is a BU site like a thing I don't know about? And contemplating a best navigation style for websites with a larger product catalog and quite a few collections.
Lean on search? Lean on filtering in the collection.
Filtering, yeah. Collection
that sidebar filtering.
I mean, and your thing that you love, you got to do a card sort exercise. You can narrow it down to 5 things. 5 main overarching crazy things, and then each one has a mega menu below it that'll come out when they do those 5 overarching topics. And in the mega menu, each of those 5 could have like 6 or 7 things in it, and right there you got 30 different categories.
You can also try using your Shopify Analytics or Google Analytics or an app like Better Reports and figure out like, okay, these are my top selling products. These are my top selling product types. These are my top selling product vendors. And then use that to inform some of it. But really, the way out, we've got several stores now with really big collections. And the way out of it has been have good search on the site and have good sidebar filtering in the collection. And so that really assumes that you've got great product information management. So there's some data entry and heavy lifting there. But really, I think the short answer is Booster Product Filter and Search is this app that I've come to love for situations like this.
Yeah, we lean on that app. They don't pay us any money.
No, it's No, it's just a genuinely great app that has helped us out in the last 18 months on a lot of big projects, especially the automotive stuff.
He or she, don't know. They also want to know pagination or infinite scroll.
I like this question.
A, who cares? B, if infinite scroll is better, it's only by like 0.1%. And C, if it is better, it can break all the time. So sometimes
there's your answer.
So sometimes you don't get anything. So why would you do that?
Baymard would tell us, Baymard UX Institute, who I love, would tell us do pagination. And I love infinite scroll. It is so cool. It is so prone to breaking, especially in a browser like Safari. Safari's the new IE. This thing is so, like, Safari and JavaScript just don't seem to get along. I'm tearing my hair out with Safari.
I built that baller slideshow for Hoonigan now. That was great. And in Safari, on your iPhone, if you touch the screen in any way, it stops working.
Yeah, Safari.
And I had to find a fix for that. That has been an extant bug I found for 3 years.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
No, truly, Safari, new IE. Get with the program, Apple. No, so the short answer is do pagination because I'm pretty sure Baymard said that's the way to go. It's standard. Everybody knows how to use it. And infinite scroll is so prone to breaking.
Every time you mention Baymard, I think of Brymar College from Deltron 3030.
Are you just making up words?
Upgrade your gray matter, because one day it may matter. Come on.
I appreciate any time you rap.
Brymar College. All right, you're just going to give me all the weird ones. When Brenda McFarlane comes up, you're taking Brenda McFarlane, I'm sure.
Yes.
I get Andriy Rudnick.
All right.
I'm sorry to all of you. Running an e-commerce business can seem super complex, but if you had to write a back-to-basics checklist for a $1 million a year merchant, what would it be? Thank you. Is this more of a question than a comment than a question? I don't know. Get the fundamentals right.
Nail the fundamentals.
That's a thing you said this week that I liked, that I think we can spin on, is everyone worries about little ancillary bullshits.
The shiny toys.
Business. Yeah, and they just don't care about the fundamentals at all. Like, anytime in my life anyone's like, but what about my page speed score? What about core web vitals? I'm like, how many emails do you send a week? I'm just going to completely be like, how many emails do you send a week?
When was the last time you looked at your product descriptions?
Yeah. No, what? Yeah, how are your product photos? Are they big enough?
All right, so
do they look nice?
I would say... write the back to basics checklist for a $1 million a year merchant. What would it be? Let's at that point, we're already established. So let's make sure that customer service is on point. Like, let's get a returns manager in place with Bold's Return Manager or Narvar if you want something more enterprisey. Those are both really good options. So get a returns portal in place. Let's get an FAQ in there. Let's get support ticketing software. Let's make sure that we have preempted any customer issues. All right, boom, number 1, got that out of the way. Number 2, let's nail our positioning. Let's start talking to customers. Let's do a customer survey, and then let's rethink our positioning, because it probably hasn't changed between the time we were growing the business and we hit 1 million a year. Let's make sure that it still makes sense. And then if we know that positioning is the cornerstone of our copy, our marketing, our messaging, now take the top 20% of your products and you rewrote those product descriptions so they tell a story, so they're tonal, so they're longer. And that really, I think, like, those are the 3 things I would start with. And then you could get into, like, all right, let's try and make the site easier to browse, easier to find our products. But I mean, those three, if you go through that, really, that exercise will help you dramatically.
Well, and now that we have our positioning and all that language down, we're going to write a new welcome series that welcomes every single email that we grab on or from someone that buys something from us. And that
welcome series, you're right. Especially at this stage. Like, I went to Klaviyo Boston a couple of years ago, and I'd ask people, hey, what's your merchants? I'd say, what's your favorite flow? And the majority of them said the welcome series. Like, that was the one. They're like, once we got that dialed in and performing right, that's the thing that really made the money.
And that loops back to John's question of like, well, why am I seeing this conversion drop? Well, because maybe people don't understand the value you're offering. Okay, well, the welcome series
will help you do that. You're right. No, you're 100%. This is great. This is building on itself.
Wheels within wheels, man. It's all holistic.
It's like an onion, just layers.
Yeah.
Keep peeling it back. Brenda McFarlane asks.
Brenda McFarlane.
Ron.
Aaron Rodgers.
We were rewatching Key and Peele. I think that show is going to make it. It's very funny.
Yeah, I think they're talented gentlemen.
Oh, yes. All right. Brenda McFarlane asks, I make handmade jewelry and I work alone. What's the best way to advertise for conversion plays? I would point you back to Vivian K's episode from last Tuesday, in which she makes it very clear community and story are what sell.
Yeah, you're not selling the jewelry, you're selling Brenda McFarlane.
Yep. I want to know who you are. I want to know why you're doing it. I want to know your journey, and then I'm going to buy your jewelry. Mm-hmm. That's the thing.
And you working in someone we worked with that's in the group, Mary Geraldine. I forgot the name of
Gardens of the Sun.
Gardens of the Sun. She sells jewelry. She doesn't make it. She's in Indonesia, I think.
Yeah, she's in Bali.
She's in Bali. And it's like...
And that's very Midwestern. Bali. He's in Bali.
The total fitness, casino, and an island.
And arcades. Or pinball machines.
And Six Flags.
Oh, and Six Flags.
They did own Six Flags.
That was some regional reference.
And a record label. But anyway, yeah, and I mean, so she has a great story because she has like local women in Indonesia that are making it, and so it's like she's giving these women an opportunity to make money and all that sort of stuff. So she's got a great story. She has incredible stories and videos detailing that story. So I would look at what she is doing, and that's the kind of stuff you need to be doing.
Yeah, well, and the issue with jewelry is it's very much you are spoiled for choice with jewelry. Mm-hmm. And that can make, I mean, in many ways, jewelry can be a commodity. And so for that reason, that's why for this question, I immediately went to story and community are the two things.
It's the same thing. I mean, she's a small operator.
So I mean, those two will help. Say story and community. If you could develop those, that'll help any business.
Yeah.
But especially with something like jewelry.
Ethan Lahav, we are running paid ads and we see 90% of traffic with only one page view, which is the collection page. That's the landing page. Almost all of them don't continue to the product page. I'd be happy to get a clue why this is happening. Because you're running paid ads and that's the top of funnel traffic, so it's going to convert like shit. That's tofu traffic,
top of funnel.
That's just what's going to be happening, man.
Well, at the same time, sending them to a collection page, is it literally like I get dropped into a grid of products?
Yeah, that sucks.
That's not going to work.
That sucks.
You need to send me to a landing page.
So now, a landing page specifically made for people that have clicked on the ad.
Yes. So, like, number one, it needs to, the first thing I need to see needs to feel like the ad I just saw, right? So, all right, let's look at your win. You have an ad that people are clicking through on. That's the hard part. Fabulous. You did it. Now, assuming that the traffic, that it works, all right, let's make a landing page, and this could just be like a fancy collection template, or you can use something like Zipify Pages to build and quickly revise and test a landing page. And number one, make sure, like, when I land on that page, take the headline from the ad, take the graphic from do something that makes me immediately feel like this is connected to the ad. I think that's number one. Then number two, it needs to be a little bit like a sales letter. Like give me some kind of hook, some kind of positioning that makes me feel like this is the product for me, and then show me the product, show me social proof. And you could do that, like in this case, maybe it's not just one t-shirt, it's like a group of t-shirts, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, you could do this with a product page.
I would
If
also
you have
say,
a crazy,
try
great product page like we have on Adam's Polishes or something that has a ton of great content on it. That you could do, but just a straight up collection page of just like, here's one paragraph of text and 12 products. Like,
Yeah. Well, and when I land on a collection page, you're essentially telling the person like, hey, now you have to make a decision, and you're kind of like launching me into this. You're like, well, you got to browse.
it's like they just clicked through on a Facebook ad. They are not ready to buy yet.
Yeah. And it may be that like, okay, you could look at it as like, this is a win. We got them to the page they visited. Now retarget people who click the ad.
Yeah.
Right? That could help.
I mean, and again,
Sometimes it's about total number of touch points.
and I ran the numbers on this months ago, I remember, because we were trying to figure out why mobile conversion rates are so bad compared to desktop conversion rates. And I'm sure there's a myriad of reasons, but we realized that one of the main reasons was that the main way that people got to the site through desktop was by searching or directly going to it. And
That's very intentional.
that's very intentional. The main way people got to the site on mobile is Facebook or Instagram ads.
Yeah, those story ads.
Yeah.
That's the only kind of ad that will get me, because it's like it's interruption marketing where it takes over the entire page. It's not as easy to click past, and then it's easy to just swipe up on it. Now I'm on a page, and I can tell like the number of times, like I'll click on several
The number
ads.
of times you've bought on that visit
Yeah,
is like 1 in 100, maybe.
maybe. And usually it's like I saw the ad, I swiped up, I looked a little, and I'm more interested because I'm also a professional. So it's like it has to interest me, and I'm professionally interested, and then I'm still leaving. And it's only on like a subsequent ad or a maybe if they got me into a newsletter, then I'm going to go back and buy.
Yeah, so that's another thing you need to understand is that those Facebook or Instagram ads are not gonna be direct converting on that click. Those are the seeds for your future conversions
That's such a good way to put
on
it.
desktop.
Yeah, you've got people. These people are now in the top of your funnel. What are you going to do to move them down?
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to think in this like
this thing where
touch
it's
point
like, well, they
idea.
click and then 90% leave, and then they leave, and I guess it's over now. No, it's not over now. You've got another nugget of information about them, is that they were interested enough to click. You've whittled down the audience by a ton.
Yes.
Athena Digby Smith, Anthea
Digby Smith. There we go.
I installed Turbo.
Congrats.
Is there any great features I may have missed? Any other good tips or tricks with Turbo? I don't know. It's a theme. Options on it.
You just click around.
Click around.
All right. So
the Turbo options are daunting to me, and they make no sense. They're like headline color, sub-headline color, top headline color, side headline color. It's like, what? What are even these options? I don't know where any of this shit is.
to this day, I still have to get a little fiddly with it.
It's too hard. The Turbo customization things like the GUI tools are way too complex and underexplained.
I wish you could have like tool tips in there. That would help a lot. Yeah, now that we've thrown our sponsor under the bus.
Yeah, well,
when I go into a store that already has a theme like Turbo running, the two missed opportunities I always see are, number one, the mega menu. Like, no one implements a mega menu, and if they do, it ends up being a mess. So setting up a mega menu and having it look really clean, that's a win. Mm-hmm. Like that one's definitely an overlooked opportunity. Same with Flex or really any theme that has a mega menu. You just don't see them set up often. There's some heavy lifting there, I think, in terms of like, I got to crop an image.
It's going back to decisions. It's like you got to it's a lot of decisions involved.
Yes.
Picking a font, not a big decision.
Right. Yeah. Choosing your font's colors. Nah, that's not that big a deal. And then the other one is the page templates. There are so many cool alternate templates in there, like product.details and page.faq and page.contact. And that often gets overlooked. And that, I think, really is where a lot of the value and the magic is.
Oh, like utilizing those templates.
Yeah, people
on
just
your contact
don't
page?
use them, or if they do, like, they don't do a lot with the sections. And playing with those alternate templates, that's the magic. That's where it gets really cool.
True.
And then you could start, duplicating those templates, applying them different places.
Well, they're not doing that.
They're not?
Well, you mean like make duplicating a template so you have like a second product details template and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah.
They're not doing that.
I get that one's intimidating. As soon as you have to edit the theme code, most people are like, I don't want to break this.
Rightfully
and I don't blame them.
Rightfully so.
Ethan Lahav.
Ethan's back. How would you structure your homepage as a new brand in a competitive niche to encourage add to carts and conversions? Let's go with what is our top homepage layout?
A giant
Video.
I want a video explaining why the heck I should pay attention to you, which also makes it look professional and good.
Yeah.
I see that video, I'm like, okay, these guys are not yahoos.
I want a video showing how cool I will be when I buy this product, and the product.
You're brilliant.
And the product doing rad shit.
Yes.
Below that, I want what you are and the name of the product and all that sort of stuff, and how cool you are, the maker of the product. I want like text about that. Then I want 3 featured collections of places they can go to winnow them down in the product funnel. Then I want a collection of your best-selling products.
I'm stripping it further. I want a video that just immediately screams, you're going to be awesome if you buy this.
Yep.
I love that idea. Like, show me how cool I'm going to be with this product.
Go to overlander.com. You look like a badass in an action movie if you buy this gas can.
That is really what they did, isn't it?
Pretty much what it is.
Yeah. And then below that, just give either, depending on, so it depends on the catalog. But I think the win, if it makes sense for what you're selling, just give me giant collection grid. Just let me start scrolling through a grid of 48 of your bestsellers that are in stock.
Let's give a SOP. He said as a new brand in a competitive niche. So we need to talk about what our competitive advantage is and why we're better.
Okay.
And who we are.
But if it's like t-shirts.
Well, it depends.
Yeah. So there's so much missing here.
It's like, does your product have like a creation process that is different or interesting? It's toasted, something like that. Put that in there. But if it's just like our t-shirts have butts on them, just get to the butt t-shirts. It's fine.
Our t-shirts have butts on them.
Buttshirts.com. I'm buying it. I'm buying it.
I'm sure somebody has it. It's too late. No one register that till we have the time.
That's it. We're done.
Well,
and also mega menus. And then I want an email thing at the bottom to grab their emails if they hit the bottom.
Well, yeah, for sure, I do. I want an email opt-in at the bottom as my safety net. How do you structure your homepage? I think the answer, like, attention getter. Yeah. So that should be video, followed by featured promos or multiple featured collections to try and get me into like the proper category I'm shopping for, whether that's like pants versus socks, right? Or Ford versus Chevy. And then if it's fewer products, like, okay, let's just do it in a featured collection. Just get me to the product sooner. And then I like the idea of like, all right, after that, then, hey, we'll explain who we are, why we do this, our story, and then newsletter opt-in.
I think the story goes before the collection, but that is quibbling.
Yeah. I'm just happy. If it's on the page at all, I'll be thrilled.
Yep.
Anthony Watts. Oh, I like Anthony Watts. I think he's one of the few folks who gets pre-approved status in the Facebook group.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's right. All the rest of the shit you see, we have to say it's okay.
Yeah, I moderate the heck out of that thing.
Thumbs up. You should see the stuff we delete.
Ooh, yeah, jeez. Anthony Watts, how did you guys cope with work burnout in the beginning when still growing your brand to a level where it's sustainable to take time off? E.g., you can actually afford to pay other people to do some things.
It's funny you should mention it because I feel like the problem in the beginning is not burnout. At least for us, it was not enough work to do.
Yes.
It's like no one comes to store, very lonely.
Yeah, early on, it's like, I think early on it's trying to keep motivated. Then you end up in, like, once you get past that, you end up in the entrepreneur's dilemma where you're on the hamster wheel and you can't stop working or things just stop, but you're not making enough money yet to hire out and outsource stuff.
Yeah.
So 2 things here. One, you may find that like maybe there is stuff that you can outsource because you can get contractors. You don't need full-time employees for a lot of things. You can get contractors, you can get virtual assistants, and maybe that frees up your time enough that you could do it. It could be that you could leave for a little bit and you just haven't realized it yet or figured it out. I think that both of those, I speak for personal experience. And then I think the other thing is anytime you're experiencing burnout, the way I handle it is number one, like look to get in the right headspace. I take inventory of things I'm grateful for. Take inventory of wins. Just run through a list like here's top things I'm giving thanks for. And that's enough to start feeling good again. And then from there, okay, what are my goals? Like let's start reminding yourself of what your goals are, short-term and long-term, and why you're doing it. And that should get you motivated and coping and moving forward. But I think you could also look for maybe take a hard look at things that just don't generate an ROI and you can just stop doing.
Yeah.
I guarantee there's stuff you're doing that is a complete waste of time and you just haven't realized it yet.
Yeah, and that you were like, I thought this was a great idea.
Some things you just got to try to find out that they're bad ideas.
Yeah, because I didn't know better and now I'm just like in a routine. It's like shake up the routine.
That's part of why like stepping away for a few days is a good idea. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes you leave for 3 days and you realize like, oh man, there's a whole bunch of stuff I really shouldn't be bothering with.
Yeah, like, let's be honest. Like he can ignore the business for one day and it won't blow up.
Correct.
So take a day off. Just take it.
Yeah.
Just take it and just forgive yourself for taking it. And you don't need forgiveness and you don't need permission. Part of this magic is that
it's your business.
It's your business.
You can do what the frig you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Anthony, I believe in you.
I don't.
Aw. All right, well, you're 1 for 1 on that one.
You'll do fine, Anthony.
Jesse Tutt.
Jesse Tutt, what bundling solutions do you recommend? Kurt, what bundling solutions do you recommend?
If you're on Shopify Plus, you can straight up do your bundling with Shopify line item scripts. That would be my preferred solution there. Frequently Bought Together is a great app for just cross sells. And if you're talking about like straight up, we just want to do bundling, like, buy this group together, Bold Bundles.
Bold Apps product bundles.
Yeah, that one's great. It'll do what you want. And then what's cool about that one is you could pair it with Bold Brain and it'll be like, it'll straight up tell you, here's the stuff that you should bundle together. And that's very convenient. Got that one.
Sam Chi. Where to find a good Shopify or klaviyo expert for ad hoc work? Is it klaviyo? Did we ever figure it out?
Every time I find out what it actually is, then eventually I'll second guess myself and go the other way.
At
this point, just say it how you feel.
I'm fully locked in on klaviyo.
I also just say klaviyo.
All right, there you go.
Yeah. Klaviyo. Really like hammer the A. Chicago. Where to find a good Shopify or Klaviyo expert for ad hoc work? Well, all right.
Answer.
The Shopify, there's the Shopify experts and Shopify jobs. I mean, those people are vetted by Shopify, and certainly I would hope are fearful of getting kicked off the platform, right? No one wants to get slapped on the hand by Toby. So I think that would be my first place.
Toby's a very gentle man.
Yes.
I feel like I've met him several times, and he seems like a quiet, gentle, unassuming man. I
Yeah.
don't think he's going to slap you.
No?
No.
I challenge him to slap me.
Harley, on the other hand.
You think he's the muscle?
I think Harley could whip my ass.
I think he could take us both. The next unite, people are going to see us running, just running. Harley coming at us. Run! Let's see what we got here. I would start with Shopify experts would be the first one. And then after that, what I caught here was ad hoc. It's like, all right, I've got these random tasks. I just need someone to take care of for me.
Yeah.
For something like that, I would use a small task service. Task Husky, Hey Carson, Store Tasker.
Do those all three still exist? Because wasn't there like mergers and stuff?
So Hey Carson and Store Tasker were both owned by Jonathan Kennedy, and he sold one of them to Ask Lorem, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So there we go.
But all three of those are still a thing.
Yeah.
Okay, hire one of them.
Yeah. There you go.
Also, on that Shopify experts directory or whatever, don't go with the cheapest.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Go for a second from the bottom.
Second from no, I'm not kidding. It's like wines, people that do your stuff around your house.
Trim levels on cars.
Yeah, second cheapest. Because the cheapest, no good.
Yeah. Yes. Let's see what we got here.
Sam Chi. Also, when retailers reach out who aren't Walmart or Best Buy, so I guess like non-big box retailers, and want to carry your product, how do you think through that? Things to look out for, how to scale that, blah, blah, blah. I got no clue, man.
Yeah, there's a lot there. All right, so I'll just talk you through how we would typically set up a wholesale channel. Is number one, like a contact form on the site, an application form for wholesalers to apply that's going to ask a lot of this info just to weed out the tire kickers, right? Like, how long have you been in business? Do you have a physical store? Do you sell online? Are you legitimate? Why do you want to carry our product? And then, like, that's it. Boom. And you could find, if you check the footer on a whole bunch of sites you'll see these wholesale application links. And it just like, it's a client application form, essentially. So you start with that. And then from there, assuming you're not getting a lot, talk to them on the phone. Be like, hey, you wanted to, what are you looking to do here? And then you need to provide a way to incentivize them selling your product. And so number one, make it easy for them to buy. And you can use, if you're on Shopify Plus, there's a wholesale channel built into it. You can use Shopify line item scripts to do the discounting automatically. Or you can use an app like Wholesale Hero, Wholesale Gorilla. I don't know, just type wholesale in the App Store. You'll find a whole bunch of them.
Isn't there's a bold customer pricing?
Customer pricing? Yeah, that's the one we used on our biggest wholesale store for a while.
Yes, they pay us money, by the way.
Oh, yeah. How about that? So you want to set that up. And then I think the piece that a lot of people miss is they treat their wholesale customers either like regular customers or ignore them. Do a newsletter for just the wholesale customers. Put together marketing materials and promos that then they can use to sell your product. Help them sell your stuff, and you will be rewarded.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah.
Like, you think
nobody does that.
I mean, think of everything you see in the grocery store. The grocery store doesn't do that. Like, that is all handled by the company that's got the grocery store. The grocery store just charges rent for a shelf. You got to do everything else. What? No.
Charging rent for the shelf space in a grocery store is diabolical and brilliant.
That's not actually how it is, but that's pretty much how it is. Like, they don't care, like, whether your stuff sells or not. Like, they'll just get someone else.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's like you have to do the sales. Like, you're the one that has to, like, lead them to the water.
All right. Final question. James Circle asks, what is your team updating, changing for core web vitals?
Nothing. We are doing nothing.
Why?
Because who cares? Oh, I got terrible news, by the way.
What?
Awful news. Mm-hmm. So when we last discussed this 3 weeks ago, I gloated that my website had 100 on 100 on a Google page speed.
Yeah.
I believe it is now down to 94 out of 100.
Oh, no!
I know. I lost 6 points.
Do you lose sleep over it?
I do. Because
but what about the algorithm update?
It said, by the way, that because I have too much page shift when my website is 3 p tags, obviously nothing is shifting. It's entirely static content. It's loading a paragraph of text, and the Google robot, which again controls our lives and is obviously perfect and knows exactly what it's talking about, says my website shifts too much. So I don't know about this. Anyway, we're doing nothing. We don't care.
So if you do care, why would they care about cumulative layout shift?
I don't know.
I like Steve Chow from My Wife Quit Her Job. He goes, look, Google makes their revenue from ads.
Correct.
And
like, what does Google care why websites are slow? What do they care?
And it's not some altruistic thing.
Yeah.
It's to juice ad revenue. Because their ads load deferred. They're the last thing to load on the page. And they also cause cumulative layout shift, creates problems for them.
Oh, yeah. Google ads pop. I mean,
that results in fraudulent clicks.
Yeah, think about when you're on a website. Google page ads pop in late all the time.
Because it's load deferred. So, all right.
Wait. Explain this conspiracy theory, because I'm into it.
You like it?
So wait, so what is it? So that Google is
All right, so the reason this was Steve Chow's theory, and I subscribe to it. I like it. Cumulative layout shift is like you're about to click on like the pagination on a site.
Or you're clicking on on a link.
And then the ad pops in, and you click it, and then you click back.
You accidentally click on the ad because it popped in late.
Yes.
While you were in the midst of
Yes.
doing a click on something else.
Right. That then gets, like, that's the most annoying kind of click for them, because that's fraudulent click.
So Google knows when that happens? How? Because you immediately back out and they track it?
Yes.
Okay.
So they mark that as fraudulent click, and then that, like, everybody gets annoyed. The webmaster who lost the revenue, and Google, and the user is a bad experience. So this whole thing is about, like, Google ads wrecking up the web, but they shift. It's similar to how we made sustainability the end consumer's problem. We have now made Google ads performance the webmaster's problem.
So what they're saying is your website needs to be faster and not shifting.
So that their ads load sooner.
So when our ad loads up and shifts the website, that's not so bad.
Yes.
Well, and I mean, it goes back to the
now here we go.
I mean, it goes back to the thing where they're like, here's the worst thing on your website, the YouTube JavaScript. It's like, that's yours. Like, if you
That's what's funny.
You fix it.
Yeah, oftentimes the largest piece of JavaScript on a website is the YouTube player.
Well, and this got changed about 7 or 8 months ago. One of the things they were always like, you're calling these Google fonts, they don't support font swap, which is a font embedding option that apparently makes your page shift less. It's like, well, up until 6 months ago, Google Fonts didn't support font swap. Add support for it if you'd like me to not have that on my website.
All right, so if you are concerned about Core Web Vitals, which...
Don't be.
Why are you concerned about it? Because it's a tiebreaker, right? It's not actually... In the algorithm update, it becomes a tie-breaking ranking factor. But are fine. Let's just continue with that. You're still concerned about it. You want to see the arbitrary score go up. On all of the sites I've looked at this point, the culprit is JavaScript. Core Web Vitals, page speed in general, really has become a metric for how much JavaScript is on your site. Probably too much. Why do you have the JavaScript? It's tracking snippets, it's live chat widgets, it's functionality, it's apps. What apps, what functionality, what tracking snippets, what do you want to give up? What are you willing to give up? Give up as much JavaScript as you possibly can, and the site will be more performant, and your Core Web Vitals scores will improve. If you're willing to give that stuff up, then great, you will have a better performing website.
A better scoring website.
I'm sorry, a better scoring website.
A better scoring, not a better performing website in terms of money necessarily.
Right. Yes. Yeah, when I say performant, I mean very literally like the scores we're getting are load time performance metrics.
I mean, if you truly care about this, delete all your apps.
Uninstall all your apps.
Yeah, there you go.
Done. No more problems. Get rid of that. That guaranteed live chat widget's the biggest culprit. If you've got any YouTube videos on there, that's a problem.
Those live chat widgets load all the way at the end. They make your final load time score, whatever, jack through the roof. Those things stink, those live chat widgets. But if you think a live chat widget helps you deal with customer questions and sell more money in the end, maybe keep it.
Yeah, that might be more important than this stupid Core Web Vitals score.
Yeah.
But Google told me, so we better do it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we're changing. We're telling people who care about this to delete all their apps. And when they say no, we say, okay, then you're going to have a bad score. There you go.
Yeah.
Game over.
I mean, it is as simple as that. And on the sites I've been seeing where it's like, oh, we got a really good score. The way they did it is they just deferred all the JavaScript so it loads later.
Yeah. Which again, you could do some of that stuff. I mean, that's the hack we talked about 3 weeks ago. But I do note, none of our big gun clients care about this one iota.
This is interesting. If someone says to me, like, if someone is worried about this, they're doing less than 7 figures.
Yeah.
The stores that are making over 7 figures a year, and especially like the 8-figure stores, their concerns are supply constraints and customer acquisition costs. Those are their top concerns right now. Only the stores that are like the stores in the 6-figure range, those are the ones that are worried about page speed scores and Core Web Vitals.
Yeah. It's like,
I mean, like, obviously people are going to say, like, well, I'm in 7 figures and I'm worried about it. Okay, fine. But I'm just saying, like, what I'm hearing, ear to the street.
Yeah.
That's that tends to be an indicator.
And I mean, my thing is now, when people ask me about it, where they're just like, "Hey, what would you do to help, increase my page speed score?" I'm just kind of like, "How many emails did you send last week?" It's like, "How are your product photos? Do you have page descriptions? Do you have a size guide on all your apparel?" And they're like, "But I ask about page speed scores." It's like, "Well, I'm asking about things that are way more important." It's like they have no answer, and they have not thought about their email sequences at all. But they've been thinking a lot about their page speed score, probably because the page speed score is like a little tiny problem that they think they can solve. Whereas
you can worry at that.
Writing a welcome series,
nobody wants to do
that's
it.
too much work.
Yep. And I will say, as usual, we got a few 8-figure clients, and all of them have low,
Terrible,
awful, terrible
stores that make $12 million a year, which is also their page speed score 12. Like, okay,
yeah. I mean, that's also like why we come from a place where like this just isn't worth your time. Mm-hmm. There's just other stuff that's better. All right, fine. We've beaten that horse to death.
We always do.
Do we have any horse beating sound effects?
Well, you're the weirdo.
I don't.
Don't beat horses. That's terrible.
It is.
They're pretty.
I like horses. I got nothing else. You want to go for a ride in this Beetle? I got it running.
Does it still reek of gasoline?
Yeah, I mean, I know why it reeks of gasoline.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found some things the previous owner did. I'm waiting on some parts.
You're like jamming your fingers into pipes and stuff, apparently.
Yeah, no, my evap canister has a giant, foot-long crack through it. Mm-hmm. And then yesterday I discovered that it has the wrong fuel cap on it. So it's just wrong fuel cap. It's not even sealing.
I was told this car was a B+.
Yeah, well, I'm getting there.
All right.
It runs real good. All right, let's go try it.
All right, goodbye.